Welcome. We will get started on our backs for this practice. If you happen to just be joining, if you have two yoga blocks for practice, that might be nice, but certainly not required. So we're going to start on our backs in a place of constructive rest, which always sounds like an oxymoron, but I still like the terminology. So constructive rest just looks like lying down on your back, and then the knees are bent, feet are planted. You'll heel toe your feet a little wider, excuse me, than hips width distance. It could even be as wide as your mat, whatever feels best in your body. And then knees fall in towards the center line. And you don't have to attempt to try to hold the knees touching or anything like that. It's really just a place that you can find a moment of rest and a moment of ease. And then allow your arms to rest in whatever position is calling you. So maybe out just to the right and the left of you with the palms up. Maybe if it feels good, you could bring your arms to a goalpost shape or a little cactus position. You could even put your arms overhead, bending your elbows and grabbing the opposite elbows. Or if you're wanting to feel a little more connected to your body and your being, you can bring your hands to your low belly. So those are some options, and give yourself permission to sort of play with those options and decide what feels like the best choice for you on this day. And then if you'd like, I'll invite your eyes to close, or just find a nice easy gaze so that you can start to drop in. And then just bring your attention to your breath. Allow the breath to rise and fall just nice and easily without a sense of needing to control or manipulate the breath in any way just yet. Just breathe. Use these first few cycles of breath to just gently set aside what your day has brought you. Set aside whatever you might have beyond this moment. And presence yourself as best you can. Of course, it's not like flipping a switch, but it's making space. Perhaps you have noticed that the breath organically begins to steady itself and deepen. Give yourself another few cycles of breath of quiet and relative stillness. And then perhaps beginning to gently deepen the breath, filling all the way into your belly, feeling the fullness of the inhale at the top of the breath, and then exhale, empty out fully and completely. Take another breath in. And a long, slow breath out. Right. Begin to just start to move the fingers and the toes. And then perhaps you start to reach your arms overhead and let your legs stretch out long. Come into a full body stretch, maybe feeling a little sense of flexion and extension in the spine. Good, and then you're gonna bring the feet back to the mat. Let your arms rest at your sides, so feet are planted hips width distance. And then we're gonna pick up the right foot, so your foot is at, or your knee is at a 90-degree angle, and you're just gonna open the right hip. Place your right ankle over your left knee or thigh, so just a figure 4 position. And keeping your arms on the ground, palms pressing into the ground for a little support. You're gonna press your navel to spine to activate your core, and then you're gonna lift the left knee up. So coming into what would be like a supine pigeon position. And then feel your thigh press into your ankle and your ankle press into your thigh. As you exhale, draw that shape into your body while also sort of pressing your right knee away from you. And then keep your right leg as it is. Inhale, extend the left leg long. So let your feet be a little active here. As you exhale, draw the left knee in towards your right ankle. Feel that little stretch in the outer right hip. And then inhale, extend the left leg. A couple more like that. So exhaling to draw in, feel that stretch. Just listen to the sensations in your body till you'll know how far to go. And then inhale, extend. Just a couple more, following your own breath. Good, and then on your next exhale, as you draw everything in, if you'd like, you can take your hands behind your left hamstring, and then we'll just hold the shape. Maybe you find a little sway side to side, just to kind of feel the right hip out. Say hello. Notice where you might feel a little spot that feels good to stretch. You could hold there for a moment. Good, and then keep the shape. We're going to release the left foot back down to the ground. Your hands are going to press onto the ground as well. And then lift the hips all the way up into a figure 4 bridge. So think about your right knee pressing forward and down. And then let the breath move through you. Notice the activation and the engagement in the left glute and the left hamstring. As you stretch the outer right hip, take one more breath in. Good, and then slow and steady, release your hips down to the ground. You're gonna extend your left leg long and draw your right knee in towards your chest. So maybe it's even at like a little diagonal, reaching your right knee towards your right shoulder as your left toes reach towards the bottom left corner of your mat. And then you can give it a little stretch, a little, not a stretch, a little sway side to side. You might roll the right ankle out a little bit. Good, and then we're just gonna open the right hip out. So it's gonna sort of look like a tree shape on your back, and you don't have to get the right knee down on the ground at all. You're just opening the hip up, and then we're gonna close the hip with the right hand opening, or closing rather, bringing the knee in towards the center, and then open the hip up, and then close, using the right hand to guide the leg, open, and then close. Good, and then you can set your right foot down on the ground, bring your left foot to the ground. Just feel that both feet are on the ground. And then you're gonna lift the left leg up, so it's at that 90 degrees. Open the left hip, set your left ankle on top of your right knee. Feel the thigh press into the ankle press into the thigh. And then navel draws to spine, find that activation in your core, and then lift the left or right thigh towards your chest, coming into that supine pigeon. Keeping the left leg as it is, hug the right thigh in towards your chest, feeling the stretch on the outer left hip, and then inhale, extend the right leg forward. So it just hovers. Exhale, draw in, feel the connection, feel the stretch on the outer left hip, and then inhale, extend. So a couple more. You know what we're heading for since we already did one side. Notice if you tend to rush. See if you can just pay attention to going nice and slow with your breath. And then when you feel balance from right to left, you're going to hug everything in. Take your hands behind your right hamstring. And then maybe you find that little sway side to side, just getting a little bit more into the left hip. Good. And then come back to your center. Lower the right foot down. Hug the foot in towards your sitting bone. Your hands are going to plant. Inhale, lift the hips up. The left knee is going away from you as you lift the hips. And then again, as you hold this pose, notice if you are holding the breath, let the breath move nice and easy. Good. One more breath in. And then exhale, we're going to lower down. You're going to bring the left knee in and extend the right leg long, hugging your shin or your thigh in towards your chest, wrapping your hands around your shin, moving side to side. Good. And then the right hand can come on the ground. The left hand is just going to guide the left hip open, like that supine tree pose, and then inhale to bring it closed. Exhale to open, and then inhale to close. One more time. Good. And then we're going to hug everything in. Grab the backs of the legs, and we'll rock and roll all the way up. And then we'll make our way to a tabletop position. So from tabletop, get the palms planted, spread the fingers wide, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And then we're just going to start to lean forward, shoulders over the wrists, bump your hips to the right. We're going to swing it on back and then inhale to rock forward. So just moving into some hip circles, going clockwise. And you can get the neck involved here, you can get the head involved. Just really feel your way around. And then when it feels like the right time to you, we're going to switch directions. Good. All right. And then as you are ready, walk your hands forward, coming back to your center, curl the toes under and send the hips up high and back, downward facing dog. A couple moments to feel your way around in your down dog. Snap, crackle, pop, all of the sounds. And then eventually come into stillness. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. And then inhale, lower the knees down to the ground. And we're going to exhale to a child's pose. And then as you find your child's pose, see how it feels to nestle in. Again, feel the hips around. Good. All right, let's inhale, rock back up through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, from here, inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward as you exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Take a halfway lift and forward fold. Rise and reach out and up. And exhale, hands to heart, arms to your sides, Tadasana. So take a moment to just stand on your feet, feel the breath moving in and out. Good. All right, we're going to warm up the body a little bit more. So inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, fold down to the ground. Take a halfway lift, bend your knees, plant your hands, step one foot back and then the other, hold in a high plank pose. Your knees can be up or down here. Feel length from crown to tail, from hips to heels. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, bend your elbows, hug them in as you lower down with control all the way to your belly. Point your toes, inhale, lift your chest, cobra. Exhale, lower the chest, and then inhale, rise either tabletop or a high plank. Exhale to downward facing dog. Right away, inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward as you exhale, come to the top of your mat. Take a halfway lift and forward fold. Rise and reach out and up. And as you exhale, we're going to fold right back down to the ground. Take a halfway lift. Bend your knees, plant the palms, step it back, high plank, pause at the top of the plank. As you exhale, lower all the way or halfway down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Breathe in either cobra or upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Good, from down dog, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, exhale, come to the top of the mat. Take a halfway lift and forward fold. Rise all the way up to stand. And exhale, fold back down to the ground. Take a halfway lift. Bend your knees, plant your hands this time, either step back or you can lightly hop back to Chaturanga. So moving through any vinyasa that you would like, including skipping the vinyasa at any time. All right, couple breaths in down dog. All right. As you're ready, you're going to anchor through the left foot, reach the right leg high. Bend your knees, stack your hip, and open it up. And then inhale, extend the right leg back. As you exhale, step the right foot forward. Low lunge. You're going to lower the back knee down. Fingertips nice and light, gazing forward. Good. From here, you're going to lift your left heel in towards your sitting bones, spin the shin over to the left, and then you're going to walk your hands to the long side of your mat. Left hand is going to plant by your left leg. Straighten your right leg all the way out. The foot will come down on the ground, and then you're going to reach your right arm up to the sky for a supported side plank. You could always put, if you've got a yoga block, underneath your left hand, or you can just tense your fingers. Stay anchored through the right foot. Reach the right fingers all the way up so you come out to a T, and then you're going to slide the right hand down the right leg, reach your left arm up and over. Good, and then inhale, rise back up. You're going to turn your right toes forward, bend into your right knee, so you're in a kneeling warrior two, feeling the hips open. Gaze forward. Shoulders dropping down. Think about pressing your hips open towards that long side of your mat. And then we're going to flip the front palm. You're going to tip it back just like a reverse warrior. Your left hand can rest on your left thigh. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands down. You'll spin your left shin back to center. And then you're going to curl the left toes under, lift the back knee up. Arms are going to sweep back like airplane wings, so projected lunge. And then inhale, rise up high crescent. Good. You can stay here if you'd like, or you can grab your left wrist with your right hand, stretch your arms up to the sky, and then stretch over to the right. So you'll get a nice stretch in the front of the left hip and the left side body here. Your gaze can be up or down. Hug the thighs, and if it's a little wobbly, you can always widen the stance a little bit or drop your back knee down. Good, and then we're going to inhale, come back through the center, exhale, hands come down. Step back to downward facing dog, and then make a good conscious choice if you want to take a flow here, or if you want to find a child's pose, or if you want to just hang out and breathe in downward facing dog. Right. Anchor through the right foot, left leg is going to lift. Bend your knees, stack your hip, and open it up. See if you can keep the shoulders square here. Just feel the hip open. And then inhale, extend the left leg back. Exhale to step it forward. Lower the back knee down as your fingertips get light. Open through the chest a little bit. Just a nice low lunge. Squeeze the right heel in towards your sitting bone. Sweep the shin over to the left side of your mat, and then walk your hands on the long side of your mat, making your way to that side plank supported variation. Right hand down, left hand high. So the left foot is all the way grounded. Good, stay anchored through the left foot, reach with the left fingertips, rise up, arms come out to a T, and then the left hand slides down, right arm comes up and over. Good, and then we rise up, arms out to a T again, left toes go forward, bend into your left knee, kneeling warrior two. And just feel this sense of external rotation in the hips opening, and then flip the left palm, tip it back, peaceful warrior variation. Good. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, right shin will spin back to the center, curl the right toes under, lift the back knee up, and then exhale, sweep the arms back so you're in projected lunge, and inhale, rise, high crescent. All right, option to grab the right wrist, stretch up to the sky, and then over to the left. And allow your gaze to support you. So if it feels too wobbly to have your gaze up, then bring your gaze down on the ground. Great. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, palms to the earth. Step back to your downward facing dog. And decide, option to flow, option to skip. Meeting back home in downward facing dog. All right. Your right leg is going to lift. And then step the right foot forward. This time, back knee is going to stay lifted. The left hand is going to ground. Your right hand is going to reach up to the sky. You could bring a block under your left hand if you wanted. Think about pressing the inner left hamstring or inner left thigh up to the sky. And then as you exhale, the right hand comes to the inside of the right foot. Walk your hands to the long side of the mat. Spin your left toes at about a 45. Bend into the left knee. Right toes go up. So this can be high if that's better for your knees and for your hips and your body. Otherwise, keep it low. Inhale, come back to the center, and then exhale to the right. Good. Walk your hands to the front of your mat. Come back to your low lunge. And then arms are going to sweep back to that projected lunge. Rise up, high crescent. Good, and then we're gonna open up to a warrior two. So similar shapes in the body, just feeling at different levels. Good, flip your front palm, tip back, peaceful warrior. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the ground. Step back, take a flow if you want. Couple of breaths here. Good, okay, the left leg is gonna lift. Step the left foot forward, low lunge. Fingertips stay at the mat as you gaze forward. The right hand is gonna ground, the left hand is gonna reach up. Good, and then left hand comes to the inside of the left foot. Walk your hands all the way to the right foot, bend into your right knee. Skandasana. This time, if you want, you can tend your right hand out to the side, reach your left arm up, come into a little more of a twist. And then left hand comes down, bring it back to the center, exhale to the left, right toes go up, and then left hand tends off to the side, and the right hand reaches up. Good. Exhale, right hand comes down, walk your hands to the front of your mat, everything turns forward. Sweep the arms back, come into projected lunge, crown is forward, and then inhale, rise up high crescent. Exhale, drop in. One more breath in. And exhale, open up, warrior two. Flip the front palm to back, peaceful. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the ground. Step it back, take a vinyasa if you want. Make it your own. Use it as a way to sort of clear the decks. All right, and then from your downward facing dog, we're gonna lower our knees down to the ground, knees wide, toes together, child's pose. Just 3 breaths here, just to feel it out. So just a moment and check in, notice how your hips feel, notice how your heart feels. Good. All right, from here, you're gonna lift up out of this, but you're gonna stay sitting on your heels, bring the knees together, and let your palms rest on your thighs for a moment. And just find this sense of centeredness here. All right, we're gonna bring the hands to the heart center. You're gonna rise up onto your knees. So if you'd like, you can split the knees a little bit wider for a little more stability. You're gonna feel a shift into your left knee, and your right foot is gonna step forward. Good. And then curl the left toes under, lift the back knee, arms sweep back, projected lunge. So now use your back foot to shift weight into the right foot. You're gonna bring your hands to your heart center and stair step the left knee up. Hands to heart. Good. And then from here, externally rotate the left hip, bend into your right knee and come into that figure 4 position again. A little flex to the left foot, you're pressing the left knee just energetically towards the ground, feeling the stretch on the outer left hip. So you could stay right here, or we're gonna move a little bit into that same shape that we were doing on our back. You'll stand tall in your right leg, keep the left hip open. And then as you exhale, sit down, maybe find a little more depth in your seat. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, seated, figure 4, or standing figure 4. Inhale, lift. And then exhale to sit down. Good. So from here, this is where blocks might come in handy. You could stay right here in this balancing pose, or start to come into a fold. So you'll straighten through the right leg as your hands start to reach down towards the ground. So maybe if you have blocks, you can bring the ground a little bit closer to you. And then keeping that shape in your left hip, you can stay there, or if you want, you can bend into the right knee and you'll feel a little more of an intense stretch on the outer left hip. So you could 100% stay right there. If you wanted to come into a little toe stand, you'll start to lift the right heel up and bend into the right knee a little bit more. Again, maybe the blocks are there to support you. Whoa, maybe you fall out of it like I just did. Trying to adjust. All of that is just part of the practice. So you could stay there if you wanted, or you can play with maybe taking one hand to your heart center Maybe that's enough, or maybe both hands go to the heart center. Today, one hand is enough for me. Okay. Wherever you're choosing, just breathe. Sweet. All right, if you came into that toe stand with a fold, you're gonna slowly make your way out of it, just like you slowly made your way into it. And then we're all going to meet back to that standing figure four, come into a one-legged Tadasana. We're gonna get onto that left foot in just a moment, stay strong. Good, and then push your hands forward, maybe the left leg straightens. And then nice and slowly, you're gonna bring the arms back as you bring the left leg back, coming into an airplane pose. So open up into a little back bend here. Bend into the right knee, reach the left toes back, projected lunge, and then inhale to your high crescent. Nice, and then we're gonna lower the back knee down. Hands are gonna come to our heart center. Uncurl the toes, so we're just going right back to where we were. Shift weight back into the left knee, shin, top of the foot, and then your right knee comes back down to the ground, and then you come to sit on your heels, back to where we started. Good. Take a couple of moments, take a clearing breath. You might close your eyes. You might be excited to do it all the other side. I know I am. All right, so we'll rise back to our knees. Again, find some stability by stepping the knees apart a little bit. Hands to heart center. Shift the weight into your right knee and top of the foot so that you can bring the left foot forward. Good. And then curl the right toes under. Lift the back knee up. Sweep your arms back for your projected lunge. Feel the right toes shift weight into the left foot. Hands come to heart center as you stair step the right knee forward, one-legged Tadasana. So just find your footing on that left foot. And then externally rotate your right hip, bend into the left knee, and make the ankle to knee or thigh connection coming into your standing figure four. So you could absolutely stay right here, or keeping the shape in your leg, you're gonna inhale, stand tall on the left leg, and then exhale, sit down into your standing figure four. All right, lift up, and then sit down, maybe finding a little more depth. One more time, lift up, and then sit down. So you can stay here again, or you can come into the folded variation by straightening the left leg. The fingertips will reach down to the ground or to blocks. And then breathe into that space. And then you make a decision if you want to feel a little more of an intense stretch in the outer right hip by bending into the left knee. That might be enough. Or you can start to lift the left heel up and come all the way into that little toe stand, using the support of the blocks. And then allow some space for your sides to be different. My left knee does not allow me to balance in any other way without supporting myself with blocks, so that's where I'm going to stay. But otherwise, you have the option to bring one hand to heart, both hands to heart. Sweet. And then wherever you are, we're going to slowly make our way out if you got yourself into anything. Taking your time. Back to the standing figure four. And then lifting up to our one-legged Tadasana. Good. Push the hands forward like you're pushing something away as you extend your right leg forward, and then open up, airplane pose. Let your heart be forward, let your breath be full. Good, and then you'll bend into the left knee, the right toes will reach back. Land for your projected lunge. Reach the arms up for a high crescent. And then again, the arms are going to reach back, projected lunge. Lower your back knee down. Bring your hands to your heart center so you're in that 90-90. Feel the right toes uncurl. Shift the weight into the right knee so that you can step the left knee back. And then come back to sit on your heels. Take a moment. Hallelujah. Breathe. Congratulate yourself for a job well done. All right. And then from here, you're going to bring the palms to the ground, curl the toes under, lift the hips high and back, come into downward facing dog. And then if you want to take, we're going to be here for a couple of breaths. So if you want to take a clearing vinyasa, you can do that. Moving back and down dog when you're ready. Great. All right, from here, the right leg is going to lift all the way up. Step the right foot forward. This time you're going to ground the back heel and we'll cartwheel all the way open to warrior two. Flip your front palm, tip it back, peaceful warrior. And then straighten through the right leg, reverse triangle. We're going to rise up, triangle prep. Reach the right hand forward as you hike the left hip back. And then slow and steady, right hand comes to your shin, maybe to a block if you have it, or to the ground. Left arm reaches up to the sky. And then again, make a choice about where it feels good to bring your gaze. Maybe it's down, maybe it's straight ahead on the horizon, or maybe it's up to your left fingers. Good, and then anchored through the back foot, we're gonna rise all the way up. Keep your right leg straight. Turn all 10 toes towards the long left side of your mat. Stretch your heart up, reach the arms out wide, and then nice and slowly fold all the way down. So if you want to bring blocks into play here, you can. Let your head hang heavy towards the earth. Hips go high, hollow out the belly. Lean the weight into the bones of your feet. Give yourself a couple more breaths here, just encouraging the stretch of the hamstrings. Make sure your knees aren't locked out. Cool. All right, you're gonna bring your hands right underneath your shoulders. And then feel the weight shift into your hands as you maybe lift the heels off of the ground. And then shift the weight back into your heels. So feel the weight shift into your hands, into the ball bones of your feet, and then shift it back. Inhale to shift forward. This time you're gonna bend your knees, lift the heels up, and you're just gonna take some little hops to bring the feet together. So maybe it's 10 hops, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 1. Once you get there, take a halfway lift, and then forward fold. Rise and reach all the way out and up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Allow yourself to be facing a different direction on your mat. Everybody's okay. All right, we're gonna anchor into the left foot actually. Reach your right knee up. And then we're gonna externally rotate. So open the right hip up like a tree and then bring it back to the center. So just what we did on our backs, we're doing standing up. Open the hip up. See if you can do that without doing anything else in the body, and then close. One more time, open. Ooh, yep, and close. And this time it's going to be to hold, so open it up and then place your foot anywhere on the inside of your left leg. It can even be on the knee. That's not breaking some yoga police rule. As long as you're not pressing on the knee joint, it's okay. It can hang out there without causing any distress for the knee. But wherever it feels good, you might help the foot along. If you want, you could come into a little half lotus if that feels like a great choice for you. And then hands at your heart, arms at your sides, arms all the way up. Maybe it's a dynamic tree, right? Trees aren't perfectly still. You don't have to be either. So allow for your experience to really just come to you. How do you want to express yourself in this moment? Good. 2 more breaths. Just 1 breath at a time. And as you're ready, slow and steady, you're going to bring your hands to your heart if they're not already there. Stair step the right knee forward. Set your foot back on the ground. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, fold. Big knee bow, take a halfway lift. Bend your knees, lift the heels. And then you're going to plant your hands so that you can step your feet to that wide lunge once again. Cool. So you're in that wide-legged fold with the halfway lift. We're going to walk our hands to the front of our mat, come into a low lunge. And then you're going to slide or heel toe your right foot over to the right edge of your mat, lower your back knee down, coming into a lizard pose. So from here, you can stay high for sure, or you can bring your elbows and your forearms down to blocks if you have them, or just down to the ground. And we're just gonna hang out here in this lizard. So if you want a little bit more, you could come onto the knife edge of your right foot. If you wanted a little bit more, you could actually bring the left hand to the ground, use your right hand to gently push the knee away as you spiral your right chest and shoulder up to the sky. And then, are you breathing? Good. All right. So you're going to bring both hands to the ground once again. Curl the left toes under, lift the back knee up, and then we're gonna sweep the right leg all the way back, 3-legged down dog. Maybe you take a flow with that leg lifted, maybe you set the foot down and come into regular down dog. Moving back in our little home base here. Good. All right, anchor through the right foot. The left foot is going to lift. And step the left foot forward. Back heel seals, cartwheel all the way open, warrior 2. Land into it. And then flip the front palm. We'll tip all the way back to a peaceful warrior. And for now, while we tip back into peaceful, make sure you're deepening into your lunge, not coming out of it. Good, and then straighten through the left leg, come into your reverse triangle. As you straighten your leg, make sure you're kind to your joints. And then keeping the leg straight, we rise, triangle prep, reach the left fingers forward, hike the right hip up, and then left hand down to your shin to a block to the ground as the right arm goes up. Notice if you have feelings of wanting the pose to be done. See if you can stick with that. Stay present. Great. And then we'll rise up, keep the legs straight, all 10 toes turn in. Your arms can stay out, or you can take your hands behind the back, interlace, open up, And then fold in whatever way is nice and slow and mindful for you. If that bind on your shoulders doesn't feel good, you can for sure get rid of it. Okay, and then everybody's gonna bring hands down to the ground. Hands are right underneath the shoulders. You're gonna lean the weight into the hands, lift the heels, bend the knees, and then take your hops. Think about belly drawing in, feet come together, take a halfway lift, and then forward fold. We'll rise all the way up, extended mountain stretch up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart. Good, and then feel the weight shift into your right foot. Lift the left knee up, one-legged Tadasana. Nice. As you exhale, we're gonna open the left hip up. And then inhale, bring it back to the center. Exhale to open it up. Inhale back. Just really mindful of honing in on that left hip. Inhale back, and then we're gonna open it up to hold. So again, place your foot where it feels like a good choice for you and your body in this moment on this day. As long as you're not pressing into the knee joint, all is good in the hood. And then allow this expression to, again, be yours. It's a different side, so let it be a different expression. I used to be really hung up on the right and the left side being exactly the same, and it just doesn't make any kind of sense because they're two different sides. Sweet. All right, hands back to heart when you're ready. Stair step the left knee forward, set the foot down, feel the feet together, really together, and then inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, fold. Halfway lift. You're gonna lift the heels and bend the knees as much as you need to get the palms on the ground, and then you'll hop, hop, hop the feet apart. Walk your hands to the top of your mat, low lunge. Heel toe the left foot over to the left edge of your mat, lower your right knee down. So feel how that feels. Maybe it feels nice to stay up, or maybe you want to get a little more into it. Elbows and forearms down. Maybe there's blocks supporting you. All the same choices. Maybe you want to come into that higher lizard, keeping the right hand on the ground, and the left hand pushes the left knee away, perhaps coming onto the knife edge of the left foot. Great. Then we're going to bring the hands back to the ground so that your shoulders are right over the wrists. Curl the right toes under. We're going to sweep the left leg all the way back, free leg down dog. Maybe you flow with the leg lifted, or maybe you skip the flow altogether. And then as you are ready, we're going to find a little child's pose, just back to that little drawn in place. So from here, we're going to rise up, and then we're just going to let the hips go heavy, come all the way down to the ground. Keep your hands right by your low ribs. We're going to inhale, lift into a cobra, and exhale, lower. And we're going to come into a little higher cobra. We're going to do it 3 times. Inhale, lift, and exhale, wave the chest down. One more time. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Good. And just take a moment on the ground. Bring the palms one on top of the other. Let your forehead rest on the backs of your hands. You might shimmy your hips side to side a little bit. notice how your breath feels in your body. Great. Lift the head just enough to release the hands so they're next to you. Chin is going to come down to the mat. Empty the breath out. And then inhale, we're going to lift everything up. Let your gaze just be right out in front of you so you're not cranking on the back of your neck. Lift up a little bit more if you can. Use the strength of your backside body. Good. And then slowly, with control, lower down. Palms are going to stack once again. You might shimmy the hips side to side, or you might bend the knees and let the knees or the legs go side to side. But one more for good measure. So either the Shalabhasana version we just did, or you can bring the chin to the mat, zip the legs together, swing the hands behind you, interlace the hands together. And then we're going to lift everything up, no matter what choice you're making. You're making the best choice for you. Trust that. Sweet. All right, and then slowly lower on down. Hands come underneath the shoulders or right by the ribs. Rise up to a tabletop, and then you're going to walk the knees forward, and we're going to curl into one of my favorites, a little embryo pose. Curl in. You might sway side to side. Okay. Now, from here, we're going to rise up again to sit on our heels. And your hands can be at your sides if you'd like. We're just going to move into this little, ends up looking like a little hula dance. So you shift the weight a little bit into your knees so your hips come off your heels, and then your left hip goes to the left. So you might do your hands down on the ground first, and then come back to the center with your inhale, lift and shift the hips to the right. Okay, so back to center, and then you might just play with it using your hands. I like little hula hands, so to counterbalance, hands come to the opposite way that the hips go. So just play with it a couple more times. It's kind of fun once you start. And then maybe you start to notice like, oh, my knees can go wider. Just let it be whatever. It's just an exploration of body and breath. And then whenever you make it over to the left side, you're going to stay there and you're going to plant your left hand down. And then you're just going to slide the right foot back. So you're going to come into this like double stag pose. Little cheerleading pose if you're into that. All right, so left hand is going to stay grounded, and then you're going to take your right hand and just reach it straight out to the right. We're going to inhale to open the chest all the way up, gaze up to the sky, and then as you exhale, you're going to sweep your hand across the horizon and twist over so your right hand maybe even overshoots the left. So then just move into this space of opening and closing, and allow it to be like fluid and dancer like, letting the arm go wide, letting the arm go low. Maybe you come into like a little circle. Again, it's just really exploring your space. Good. And then whenever you come back to the twist, your right hand can plant on the ground, and then you can determine if that's a good place to stay, or if you want to bring your elbows down and come a little more into the twist. You might even let your forearms go parallel and rest your head on the backs of your hands or your forearms. Couple of breaths. And then you're slowly going to rise up from anywhere that might need rising. And then you're gonna bring your right knee back on top of the left. Bring yourself back to that little center pose. And then we're gonna take it off to the right. The right hand is gonna ground. You'll slide the left knee back so that the right foot is on top of the left thigh. Inhale to lift and twist open, left chest and left shoulder open, and then exhale, close into your twist. Maybe the left hand taps down. Inhale, open it up, and then allow the closing. A couple more times. You might even close your eyes here, not to disassociate from what's going on, but really to allow yourself to connect to the inward experience that you're having. Exploring the whole vast inner universe of yourself and your soul. Okay. Left hand is going to come down when you're ready, so you can come into just the deeper twist, staying up on your hands or lowering to the elbows and the forearms. Settle with the breath. And then we're slowly going to rise up, coming out of your twist, so just gently reversing your way out. You come up, stack the knees, come back onto, actually we're not going to stack the knees, let's bring the legs out in front of us. And let's just come into a little forward fold here, just for funsies. Toes up to the sky, arms up to the sky, belly drawn in, and then fold forward. So if you have yoga blocks and you have the accessibility in your fold and want a little bit more, you could take a block to the soles of your feet so you have a little more length to hold and fold into. So just meet your body where it's at. Not trying to force the hamstrings to be any more open than they are in this moment. Right, and then we'll rise up. You can keep the legs straight if you'd like. If it's better for your back, you can bend the knees and bring the feet to the ground. We're just going to slowly lower all the way down. Using your core strength, using your breath. Slow and steady wins the race. Once you get on your back, reach your arms all the way overhead. Stretch out nice and long. And then slowly allow the arms to meander alongside you. Set up for your Shavasana. If it feels good, you've gotten into those hips, you could end your practice in Supta Baddha Konasana, the soles of feet together. There's, of course, anything else that you need from your practice. You are welcome to explore that. Otherwise, allow the body to melt into the earth. Allow the controlled breath to be released and invite the natural breath to move in you. hands. I'm going to leave you as you are, resting as you are. It is my honor and privilege to guide you. I wish you well. I wish you peace, love, and light. Until next time.